The day life changed forever. It was one of those mornings that seemed destined to work out perfectly. The sun streamed through the kitchen window, illuminating the table with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. The little one, Gabriel, 8 years old, still in blue pajamas with rocket designs, ran around the house holding a red toy car, imitating the sound of an engine. Vroom! Look, Mom! It FLIs. Mariana, 36 years old, was fixing her hair in front of the living room mirror while smiling with that pure joy that only children have. She always said, "Gabriel's laugh is my favorite alarm clock." But that morning, something different happened. As Mariana ran her hand along the left side of her chest, she felt a small lump, small, hard, immobile. His smile vanished instantly. Her heart skipped a beat. A chill ran down my spine, as if someone had turned off the sun outside. She pressed it again to be sure. The little ball was still there. It must be nothing. It must just be a common lump. It must be. It must be. But no matter how many times she repeated it to herself, the fear had already taken hold. Gabriel appeared in the room at that moment, holding the stroller. "Mom, have you seen my new car? It's ultra super fast." Mariana tried to smile, but the smile came out crooked. "Beautiful, my love," he realized. Children notice, with a profound gaze that no one can teach. "It's something you're born with." "Mom, you look sick." She swallowed hard and replied, "No, my angel, Mommy is just thinking." But the truth was, Mom was scared. Days later, Mariana was sitting in the doctor's office. The walls were too white. The clock made a slow, dragging tick-tock, as if provoking his anxiety. The doctor went in, kind, experienced, but his eyes spoke louder than his words. He held the exams carefully, took a deep breath, and said, "Mariana, we found a tumor." She felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath her. The air grew heavy. The lights seemed brighter. The sound from the street disappeared. And then came the word that cut through everything. "It's breast cancer." Mariana remained motionless. A tear rolled down its cheek on its own. She thought about her plans, her work, her dreams. But immediately, the image that came to his mind was of Gabriel running around the room with his red toy car and a bright smile. "And my son? How am I going to explain this? How am I going to continue being strong for him?" But before he could form a thought, the doctor was already explaining, "We will start treatment as soon as possible. It won't be easy, but it won't be impossible." All she could hear was an echo. "Cancer, cancer, cancer." Mariana left the doctor's office with the crumpled test results in her hand, as if she were returning from a world that wasn't hers. In the car, he took several deep breaths. Air was going in, but it didn't seem to fill the lungs. When he arrived home, Gabriel ran to her, his steps quick and clumsy. "Mommy, you took so long. I made a drawing for you." It was a simple design. The two of them holding hands, with a giant smiling sun above them. Mariana knelt down. He hugged his son so tightly that Gabriel was even startled. "Hey, what's wrong, Mom?" She tried to hide her trembling voice, but failed. "Nothing, my love. I just missed you." He placed his small hand on her face. "Mom, you're crying inside." That's when she realized, even without understanding what cancer was, even without knowing the extent of the fear she carried, Gabriel already sensed everything. And then, with the sweet way that only children have, he said, "If you are afraid, I can be your courage." That phrase pierced Mariana's heart like a flame lit in the darkness. At that moment, she felt something different. I wasn't alone. Even before the fight began, she already had the biggest reason in the world to fight. And so it was, with an unknown lump in her chest, and a gigantic love in their arms. That's when the Battle of Mariana began. If these stories touched you, leave your comment. like, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos of First Impact. Fear, fragility, and the birth of hope. The morning of the first chemotherapy session started differently. The sky was cloudy, as if the world were holding its breath along with Mariana. She put on a light blouse, tied her hair in a hasty bun, and looked in the mirror with a silent question. Will I be able to get through this? Meanwhile, Gabriel was sitting on the sofa, swinging his legs and holding his favorite toy superhero with a blue cape. As soon as he saw his mother, he ran and hugged her around the waist. Mom, today's the day for the super powerful medicine, right? Yes. My love, today Mommy begins an important battle. Then we'll go together. He said it with such certainty, such innocence, such courage, that Mariana felt a warm pang in her chest, not of pain, but of love. Inside the car, Gabriel watched everything through the window. It was as if he were going on a secret mission. He had brought a small backpack, the contents of which Mariana didn't know. Upon arriving at the hospital, the strong smell of alcohol and the silence of the masked people made Mariana shrink back. She gripped Gabriel's hand tighter. Everything's fine, Mom. I'm here, he said, waving her hand as if to ward off fear. The room was cold. Machines beeping, occasionally chairs lined up, quiet, tired people, some sleeping. When Mariana sat down, a kind nurse came over to talk. First time, try. Everything will be all right. Take a deep breath. But her chest was too tight. Gabriel, noticing his mother's fear, opened his backpack. From there, he took out a drawing of the two of them facing a giant monster, a package of star-shaped biscuits, the superhero action figure, and a golden plastic medal. He placed the medal around his mother's neck. This medal is for you, because you are my hero. Mariana pressed her lips together to keep from crying, but a tear escaped nonetheless. When the machine started dispensing the medicine, Mariana felt a chill in her arm and fear in her heart. The seconds felt like minutes. Gabriel climbed onto the stool next to the chair and held her hand with both of his small hands. Mom, imagine this medicine is like an army coming in there. They're strong soldiers. You just need to let them do their job. Soldiers? She asked, her voice weak. Yes, soldiers with gleaming swords. They will fight the monster to save you. Gabriel's imagination painted the treatment in less frightening colors. And for a few seconds, Mariana was able to see things the way he saw them, a battlefield where she was not alone. The first few minutes brought dizziness, a slight feeling of nausea, a weariness that seemed to pull her body down. Gabriel gently stroked her forehead. Mom, do you want me to sing the Song of Strength? What is this song? The one I invented. And then he began to sing something completely improvised. A mix of funny syllables, invented words, and silly rhymes. The other people in the room began to smile discreetly. The nurse passing by commented, Your son is a light, you know. Mariana knew that. Gabriel didn't fully understand what was happening, but he understood the essentials. His mother needed joy, and that he knew how to give. When the machine beeped for the last time and turned off, Gabriel raised his arms and shouted softly, Victory in round 1. The whole room laughed. Mariana too, and she realized for the first time since the diagnosis that she could still smile even weak, even afraid. As they were leaving, Gabriel held her hand firmly and said, You were very strong today. Tomorrow I'll think of a new plan to make you even stronger. And so, in that mixture of fear and hope, Mariana realized the strength she thought she didn't have was growing inside her, and Gabriel was the reason. When love turns into strength, the days following the first chemotherapy session were a roller coaster. There were quiet days when Mariana could even cook Gabriel's favorite lunch, but there were also days when getting out of bed felt like running a marathon. The clock once hurried, now ticked slowly, heavily, lazily. But there was one constant, something that repeated itself every day. Gabriel's gaze, full of love and courage. One morning, while calmly combing her hair, Mariana noticed the first strands falling out, then a few more, and within a few days, small strands began to come loose easily. It felt like losing a piece of their identity. Her chest tightened, her throat closed up, and she ran to the bathroom to avoid crying in front of Gabriel. But children always find us. Gabriel appeared in the doorway, holding a drawing he had made. "Mom, look, it's you with a superhero cape." He noticed she was crying, and he approached slowly. "Why are you sad? Was it the monster?" Mariana couldn't lie. "My hair is falling out, son. But hair grows back, right? Just like a plant. It grows, but it hurts to see it go." Gabriel thought for a few seconds. He looked at the ground, and then he said, in the firmest voice a child can have, "If you're going to lose your hair." He raised his chin. "I want to stay too. That way we're equal." Mariana's eyes widened. "No, Gabriel, you don't need to." But he insisted. "Mom, you said that heroes always fight together." And in that simple bathroom, with the dripping shower in the background, the two began to cut each other's hair. She, with trembling hands. Him, with crooked haircuts and laughs between one strand of hair and another. When they were finished, Gabriel looked at himself in the mirror and said, "We look great." Mariana laughed for the first time in days. From that day on, Gabriel began to create something that he himself called Mom's Strength Plans. He wrote everything down in a green-covered notebook. Plan 1. The soundtrack of courage. Every morning, he would put on cheerful music on his cell phone. "Mom, this one's to give you superpowers." And he made Mariana dance, even if only for 10 seconds, even if she was dizzy. Plan 2. Secret tickets. He scattered little notes around the house, written in his crooked handwriting. "You can do it. I believe in you. The monster is afraid of you. I'll be right back. I love you." Mariana found these notes in the most unexpected places. Inside the refrigerator, in her shoe, inside the bed, under the pillows, stuck to the pot of beans, even inside the rice pot. Each little note was like an invisible hug. Plan 3. The turbo hug. Gabriel invented the turbo hug. A tight hug that he said recharged energy. "Mom, come here. I'm going to put good energy in your heart." Mariana would close her eyes, feeling his small chest press against hers, and always think, how can such a small heart hold so much strength? Plan 4. The routine of small joys. On the hardest days, when she couldn't get out of bed, Gabriel would create small missions for her. "Today we're going to watch cartoons while eating popcorn." "Today I'm going to read you a story." "Today we're having a picnic here on the living room rug." He brought games, drawings, music, everything to transform dark days into bearable days. There was one thing about Gabriel that Mariana never forgot. His gaze never changed. Even when she was weak, pale, bald, and without strength, he looked at her as if she were the most amazing person in the world. "Mom, you're still my superhero." And those words were like light filtering through the cracks. It was a daily reminder that she had someone to fight for. She wasn't alone. She was still strong even when she didn't feel strong. Gabriel didn't understand the weight of the illness, but I understood what really mattered. Take care of your mother, to give affection, to give courage, give love. And this love, it became a force. It was turning into energy. It turned into emotional healing. Mariana realized that even amidst the chaos, she was experiencing something extraordinary. A son teaching his mother to be strong. The courage he taught me. The third cycle of treatment arrived like a huge storm. And this time, it wasn't just my body that was tired. My mind was exhausted too. The nights were long. The pain seemed to live inside me. And the question that hurt me the most was, When will this end? On some days, I would wake up wanting to stay in bed forever. I had no strength, no energy. It felt like all the light had hidden itself somewhere very far away from me. But there was someone who could find me in that darkness. My son. He had a strange and beautiful way of understanding everything without me needing to say anything. He didn't ask why I was crying. He didn't ask why I was weak. He didn't ask why my hair was falling out. He simply, I stayed. And it was during that time that he taught me what courage was. There was one night in particular, the most difficult of all. I was lying curled up, trying to control the pain. My son entered the room slowly, carrying his blue pillow. "Mom, can I sleep here?" I didn't have the strength to answer. I just made a gesture with my hand. He climbed onto the bed, lay down beside me, and suddenly I felt his little hand holding mine. Small, warm, firm, and he said something I'll never forget. "Mom, I'll stay here until the pain goes away." It was simple. It was pure. It was powerful. At that moment, I understood. Courage was not about not feeling fear. Courage meant loving, even when the world seemed too difficult. Like a tireless guardian, he created a routine to take care of me. He brought blankets to hide the cold from the chemo. She used to draw hearts to stick on her bedroom wall to scare away the pain. I put on calming music because I said my heart needed to breathe more happily. And he always repeated, "Mom, you're my hero, and I'm your little hero." I didn't know, but those small gestures, those simple words, were saving my soul every day. Because just when I thought I was going to fall, he would stay right there, invisibly holding my hand, even when he wasn't in the room. There was a moment during treatment when I thought about giving up. The pain was immense, the fear even greater, and I felt too weak. But that day, my son came into the room with the box in his hands. He opened it and showed me a drawing. It was me, bald, wearing hospital clothes, with sad eyes. And next to him, there he was, holding hands with me, and with a bright sun behind them. "Mom, that sunshine is you when you get better." I broke down. I cried not from pain, but from love. Because in that drawing, in that childlike simplicity, lay the message I most needed to hear. You still have light, even when you can't see it. My son, so small, gave me the biggest push of my life. And on that day I promised, I will continue. For myself, for him, for us. The victory we achieved together, the final days of treatment, arrived like the end of a long journey. I was tired, but for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was almost touching a tiny glimmer of hope. It was like seeing the end of a dark tunnel far away, faint, but shining. And by my side, as always, there he was, my little hero. Anyone who thinks the ending is easier is mistaken. It is not. The body is already injured. The mind becomes confused, and the heart feels like it's carrying a suitcase that's too heavy. In the last few days, I've been more fragile than ever, but also more determined than I've ever been. And that strength, that flame that appeared right when I needed it most, came from him. Because my son had a magical way of transforming that tense moment into something lighter. He was counting down the days as if he were counting down to Christmas. I created a colorful calendar on the wall. Each time I passed a stage, he would stick a shiny sticker on it. "Mom, you only need 3 more stars to get better." Those stars gave me energy. They reminded me that there was life waiting for me. When the final day arrived, my heart was racing. I was happy and scared and tired and hopeful, everything mixed together. My son woke up early, ran to his room, and handed me a superhero cape he made himself out of a pink sheet. Today is the day of Mom's greatest victory. I put the cover on. He smiled as if he were watching the sunrise indoors. We went to the hospital. On the way, he held my hand and said, "Mom, after today we can go back to playing racing games in the backyard. I swallowed back my tears, because that race, it was a symbol of life returning. When we finally got home after the last session, everything seemed different. The air felt lighter, the light seemed brighter, and when you open the door, my son had prepared a surprise. The floor was covered in drawings, paper flowers, balloons, and a huge sign with crooked lettering. "Welcome back, Mom, you won." I cried, but this time, there were tears of relief, of victory, out of gratitude. He jumped into my lap carefully and said softly, "I knew you would succeed," and in that embrace, I understood something profound. I won, but I didn't win alone. I won because, at all times, I had a superhero by my side. Small in size, giant not love. Over time, my hair started to grow. My strength slowly returned. The color returned to my face. And along with all of that, life returned too. Simple outings are back. Laughter returned without fear. The dreams have returned. The plans are back on track. And one day, while we were walking in the park, my son looked at me and said, "Mom, now you're like those trees that lose their leaves, but then grow back again." I smiled and replied, "Yes, my love, I've blossomed again." That was the day I realized cancer has taken so much from me, but it also gave me something I will never lose again. The absolute certainty that love is stronger than any illness. The love that saved our lives. When I look back at all those days of pain, fear, and uncertainty, I realized something that, at first, I didn't understand. Cancer tried to bring me down, but he couldn't. And do you know why? Because I didn't fight alone. By my side, every day, was the greatest gift life has ever given me. My son. He was my strength when my muscles couldn't take it anymore. It was my hope when my heart shrank with fear. It was my smile when sadness extinguished the lights in the house. She was my comfort when I was the one who needed to be cared for. And even at such a young age, he taught me the greatest truth a mother can learn. A child's love is capable of rebuilding what cancer tried to destroy. After everything, I discovered that courage is not about not being afraid. It's like waking up while trembling. Strength is not shouting. Sometimes it's just a matter of taking a deep breath and saying, "I'll try one more time." Hope is not certainty. It's believing that even in the dark, there is a sliver of light. And love. Love. Love is the greatest medicine there is. It doesn't come in pill form or with a prescription. It comes through in the little things. Holding hers in one hand, in a drawing pasted on the wall, in a tight hug, in a "you are my heroine" way. The story doesn't end when the treatment is over. The story continues. Today I walk more slowly, but I walk with more gratitude. I smile more easily, I cry more easily, and I live more carefully. And whenever I look at my son, I feel a profound certainty. I survived. I am reborn. I blossomed. And he was the reason for everything. This is not just a story about cancer. It's a story about love, about family, about two lives walking together, one guiding, the other supporting. It's the story of a mother who, even after almost losing everything, gained something even greater. The certainty that love is the force that moves the world. Even when the world seems difficult, there is always someone who loves you and helps you get up. And when you truly love someone, you also become a strength for them. Never underestimate the power of small things. Sometimes a simple gesture saves someone from deep despair. I beat cancer, but the greatest victory was realizing I wasn't strong on my own. I was strong because I had my son's love by my side. And that, no diagnosis can change that. If these stories touched you, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos.